Hello, Paul, again. Alright, before it gets inconveniently dark, here's downstairs. There's another crap tank that I went ahead, added some water to, and I added a few of the small Daphnia too. We'll see what takes. But mostly, I'm here to show you Cyclops. These Cyclops here, this container, these creatures have been in here probably a month. This is the container that I originally collected them in. I wish I could get them to, actually culture them that thick. I don't really see anybody carrying egg sacs in here. So these guys might just be hanging out. I have some in other containers. I added some to this cup and gave them a little food. Obviously, there are a few in there, but it's not obvious. They're not necessarily reproducing. I may add this. Oh, let's review some of these other tanks. There are, for instance, with this little cup here, a number of these things. Oh, I need three hands. A number of these containers have plenty of little bugs hanging out in them. Although, like I said, I don't really know what makes the difference. There's another one. There's still a few Daphnia in some of these. What I may do is just lower this one rather full container down into one of these lower tanks here. I have a couple of 20-gallon flat tanks. Once again, neglected crap tanks. I went ahead and put just kind of a little random mix of stuff into this tank. This tank, I actually see, no, it's not focusing on it. I actually see interesting stuff swimming around, including copepods with eggs. So they may be reproducing in this tank. Like I said, it's just a shit tank that I added some water to. There's nothing really going on. I haven't added anything to this tank, but it looks like this is actually a 40 breeder on the bottom. It looks like it could be an entirely acceptable Daphnia pond. And then, interestingly, up here in this tank, you can see some paramecia still surviving. I kind of figured that one or the other, the paramecia or the Daphnia, would win out. I had thought that the paramecia might eat everything before the Daphnia had a chance, but it looks like the Daphnia may in fact win out, but the paramecia seem to be surviving. This tank could in fact act as a potential reservoir, I would imagine. This tank is interesting. This is a dark tank. I also added, it's just got water from one of the tubs. It gets no lighter in, I think, particularly. I also added just a mixed group of creatures to it. And I'm not sure that maybe it seemed like there might be a lot of Cyclops in there, but as I look at it, and as I have looked at it, I'm wondering if the Daphnia maybe have survived in this tank. So, interestingly, I'm not sure. It may be that Cyclops just don't culture in quantity, although they could. Although I take that back. Well, I collected them in quantity from a pond that had goldfish. It was kind of shady, kind of murky, had goldfish in it, no real plants, and I just swept the net back and forth and collected quite a few, but I don't know how concentrated they were in the water actually. So, but these guys, like I said, they've been in this little container here for, since we got the big freeze. I mean, I collected this when I was dumping stuff out before the middle of last month, so like a month in this thing. This is where, that's the container that I actually started most stuff from. And because the Daphnia were easy to catch, what was left in the container is primarily Cyclops. Alright, enough of this one.